Yo, what is up guys? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're actually going to be installing some R pipes on the 370Z. I currently have some resonated high flow cats, which is pretty much a test pipe that has a resonator on it. And we're going to be replacing it with some C-Work R pipes. It is pretty much like an exact replica of the Motordyne ones. It's just a different off-brand. And it looks exactly the same. The welds are perfect. I didn't see any issues with them. So right now we're going to go ahead and install them. I'll show you how the fitment is and everything, if I have any issues. And then I'll show you exactly what I'm going to be doing in order to remove them. You're going to need a wrench, a 14 millimeter, along with a ratchet in order to be able to remove it as well, with the socket, which is going to be a 14 mil, and some swivels. Swivels are going to be really important. That way you can go ahead and move it around so you have enough access and you don't actually strip the bolt. Because if you go ahead and use something that doesn't fit on there, and or it's not on there tight, it's going to go ahead and strip it. You're not going to be able to take it off, and that's going to be a lot of work. So if you want to go ahead and do this, make sure that you also have a breaker bar. That way you can break those nuts loose, especially at the top, because that top one is going to be really difficult. But let me go ahead and show you the R pipes. That way you guys can see how it looks. These are not Motordyne. These are called C-Works. It's like a complete replica of it. It's a little bit cheaper, not as expensive. Motordyne is currently like at 600 right now. These I got in for 450, and then they were going to charge me like another 175 just to be able to install them. So I saved like 200 bucks on it, and I also installed it myself. Only took me about an hour and a half. But if you guys can see, the build quality is really good. They're really strong, sturdy. They sound good as well, especially because Motordyne right now you have to wait like at least 2 months in order to be able to, actually it's about 6 months from what I've heard in order to get those. So if you don't want to wait, this is a good alternative. Make sure to link them down below. I got it from Infinity Motorsports, local to Arizona. So if you're interested in purchasing some, go ahead and hit them up. We have the O2 sensor installed right here. It comes off easily. Just push this clip down, pull it out. And I don't have this thing that goes right here to attach to the bottom. You should use it because it's gonna make sure that this doesn't end up cracking. You have a total of 3 bolts that you have to get to. You have the bottom one right there. You have the other 2 on top. One of them you will need to get through the engine bay area on the top. That way you can go ahead and access it, because it's really difficult to get down here. You don't really have a lot of space. And then once you install it, make sure you tighten it down. You install the O-ring on there. That way it creates a nice seal. And I also have a gasket on there as well that I had from my other R pipes. Those took perfectly fine, so I was able to use them. You guys can kind of see it right there. That's really hot right now, so I don't really want to touch it. And then back here, and then over there you have the other one installed as well. Same thing as well. You have the 3 bolts. You have 1 at the bottom, 2 at the top. Get 1 from the top, and then the other ones you should be able to get from the bottom as well. You do also need to go ahead and remove this bolt right here. That's right there. I just used like some scissors, or you can get some pinchers. Pinch that thing and then start moving it around, and then it's going to eventually break off. The reason you want to remove that is because when I was putting on the test pipe, I actually saw that it was really close to this part right here, touching it. So if you go ahead and cut that off, if you're going to prevent damaging the test pipe, for example, if you go ahead and hit this part right here and it moves it up, it's going to hit that thing and it's going to puncture a hole into the resonator right there. So that's why you want to go ahead and remove that. It's really important. Alright, so here we are at the engine bay area. When you're over here, you have to get it about this angle, closer to the intake. If you try to zoom in a little bit more, you go down there, you'll be able to see that bolt right there. It's not really focusing, but you guys can see right there that bolt that I'm pointing to. You have to get access to that one. I'm gonna go ahead and get to this side. Same thing. You're gonna go through this angle, and then you're gonna see that bolt right there shining that you need to get to. Use an extension to get to it. This one right here, along with the swivel at the end. That's gonna help out a lot to make sure that the bolt's on there secure, not to strip it. That's gonna make your job 10 times harder if you strip the bolt, because then you're not really gonna be able to take it off. You're gonna have to get like an extractor or something to take it off. So make sure you're using a swivel, that way it's on there properly, and you should be good. So both of them are installed now. Let's go ahead and start it, and then we're gonna drive it around to see if it helps with the noise at all. Alright guys, so I'm gonna go ahead and end that video right there. It did make a difference when it came to the rasp. It did eliminate a lot of it, but it still has some. It's still very loud. I didn't expect it to be any quieter. I did expect it to be pretty loud still, but it does sound a lot better, and I actually enjoy it a lot more when I'm driving around. I did get kind of used to it as well. Before, I was not used to being so loud, but I actually like it a lot. It gives it a deep tone, makes it sound really good, really aggressive, especially when you're just sitting there and you're at a stop. It just has a deep rumble. It sounds really cool. You can remove a little bit more rasp by adding another resonator. I do plan on getting one, so stay tuned for that. I want to get a white pipe that has a resonator attached to it. I know there's like about 2 or 3 available. I think Motordyne for sure is one, and there's one that's called like Circuit Works or something like that. It has a resonator as well, so I might pick that one up. That'll be in the next video, so make sure to stay tuned for that one. But other than that, all you can really do is try to eliminate as much rasp as possible, but it's just gonna be loud. There's nothing that you can really do about that. It's just gonna be a super loud exhaust, especially after you add R pipes or if you add any test pipes or anything like that. So if you do plan on getting this exhaust and you wanna change it up to R pipes, make sure you get R pipes. Don't get test pipes or anything. It's just gonna be really loud and then really raspy. You're not gonna really like it, well, at least in my perspective. But other than that, the install was completely flawless. I didn't have any issues at all. Everything lined up perfectly. I didn't have any issues with anything getting in the way. When it came to actually removing that bolt that I was telling you guys about, I just used something as simple as this. I pinched it, just started moving it up and forward just to remove that bolt that was there. Because if you do hit the test pipes, especially if you're like not on bags and you're just static and you drive really low, there's a huge probability that you're gonna go ahead and hit something and it's gonna push it up and you're gonna puncture a hole into it. So make sure you take it off. You don't need to grind it or anything. It was super easy. It came off within a few minutes. It wasn't even that long. But yeah, other than that, I like the exhaust now. It sounds a lot better. Once I add that resonator, I think it's gonna sound a lot better as well. But other than that, it was a cool install. I actually recommend them. For the R pipes, you do have an O-ring that goes at the top that you need to go ahead and install. Once you start tightening everything up, it's gonna squish it and it's gonna create like a barrier or border for it to seal up properly, and then you won't have any leaks or anything like that. I checked everything before I put the car on the floor, and I recommend you guys do that as well. Put your hand around it and just feel around the gaskets to see if you feel any leaks, any air coming out. Same thing with the top. It's gonna get hot once you turn it on, but just feel around it to see if you feel any air coming out. That way you know if you have any leaks or anything, because it's gonna be a lot of work if you put the car down, then you start driving, then you hear the leak. I will say this though, with these R pipes, there is a hissing sound. So when you're driving like in first gear or second gear, you will hear a hiss come from the resonator on the R pipe, because it like goes in and it comes out. At first I thought I had a leak, but it's actually coming from the R pipe, from that resonator that goes on the side. I asked a few friends as well, they had the same exact problem. It makes it like it's not super loud, but if you have like the radio off, you'll hear like a hiss sound come in and then come out. It's from the R pipes going in and then coming out. So just something to keep in mind. It doesn't mean you have a leak or anything. It's just something that the R pipes make. I will be 100% honest with you. When you're in the cabin and you're actually driving the car, it doesn't sound as good as it does when you hear on the outside or even in video. Once you hear it from the outside, it does sound a lot better. I had a few friends from the crew that said that it does sound really good. They actually like it a lot better than the HKS exhaust that I had. It could also, of course, be personal preference. It just depends on you and what you actually like. But a lot of people actually heard the exhaust actually like it. So video doesn't always do justice. It's always going to usually sound better when you get it in person. I know there was a comment in the comment section on one of the videos, I think it was the last one, where somebody asked if the car was tuned and it already made those noises. The car was actually already tuned, so I already had like a pop tune on there. I know I can get it retuned and it should be a lot louder when I pop, but I actually like it right now. It kind of sounds like gunshots. Before, same thing as well. It sounded kind of like popcorn. Now it sounds a little bit more like gunshots coming from the exhaust itself. So that just to answer you guys' question. Yeah, the car did do that before. If you do install it, I know it does pop a little bit, but it's not gonna be as loud as that, how it is now on my car. So just keep that in mind. You will have to get it tuned if you want like pops and stuff like that. You want flames. But yeah, hope you guys found the video useful. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you guys like how it sounds. Yeah, if you have any questions, make sure to leave it down in the comments below. I try to get back to you guys as quickly as I can. Whenever I see a comment, make sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.